G'day and welcome everyone, Stuart here from Northern Bolt and Tool, and today we're going to be looking at cordless tire inflators. We've got three different types of inflators. We've got two from the Inco catalog, one from the Worx catalog. We've got them all on 2 amp hour batteries. We've fully charged all of them. The specs on these machines are all pretty similar. So this unit from Inco and this unit from Worx, they're both rated at a maximum of 10 bar of maximum pumping pressure. And this one from Inco is the latest model, and that one they claim 11 bar of pressure. This one, Inco claimed 45 litres per minute of inflation speed. This one, 35 litres. We couldn't find a spec on Worx, but let's see how they compare. We're going to inflate this 14-inch tire. This size is 175/65, obviously 14-inch. And we're going to be starting from zero. We've got a little tire valve removal tool, so we're going to start from zero. We're going to see how long they take to inflate this wheel to 2 bar. And then we're going to also test to see how accurate each machine was at achieving that 2 bar of pressure. So with that, let's get into it and let's see how each machine performs. Alright guys, we're just going to test out the lights. It is a feature on all of these machines, and it is a feature that varies massively between the models. So this older Inco model has 3 little LEDs. This one has 1, and the placement is very weird, because at this pipe you can see it's hanging down like so. It actually obscures the little LED. So maybe a little bit of a design flaw there, maybe something to work on. But the Worx really addressed that nicely with a nice big light. So we're going to kill the lights and we're going to test out to see which one is the brightest. The Worx one actually has a few different modes and settings, which is nice. We'll show that to you guys. And we'll just show you guys how bright it is compared to the Incos. And we can see which one has the better light. Alright guys, it's quite dark in here now. Let's see, I'm going to do the first Inco tool with the little light switch, and that's sort of how bright it is with the 3 LEDs. You can see they're all illuminated, nice and fairly bright, enough to see what you need to do. Moving on to the next one. So this little Inco, the light is not quite as bright by the looks of it. I mean, it only has 1 LED. It is a lot more focused, I must say. It operates by pulling on the trigger, so you have to pull the trigger to turn the lights on, whereas the other two have a dedicated light switch. So yeah, that's that one there. And to turn it off, I suppose I'd have to disconnect the battery because there's no on-off switch. So there we go, that's that. And now time for the Worx. So that's Worx on level 1. This is Worx on level 2. So you can see quite a bit brighter and a lot broader of a light. So those are the 2 normal sort of light settings. And then there's also an emergency light, which is a flashing red light, which is quite cool. So there's the flashing red. So quite nice if you have it in your car and you get stuck on the side of the road for whatever reason. You do have the option of having something that can alert other drivers that there is danger up ahead. You turn it again to turn it off, and the cycle repeats. So there you go guys, those are the lights. Let's move on to the tests. Alright guys, so I've got the tire inflator over here. This particular unit does not come with a battery, it's a tool only. But we do obviously sell batteries and chargers separately, so that's not a problem there. So to get it going, you first turn it on with the on button. If you want to scroll between bar, kPa, psi, you double tap both of these at the same time. So you see, you can scroll across the top there. It's set to 2 bar. This is the pressure that's in the tube, the tire itself. So you can see obviously at 0.00. So let's put it on here. No, it's actually just turned off, so let me turn it back on. So it's on 2 bar. Now to start it, you just press this button here and we'll go. And that's the great thing with these automatic pumps. When it gets to the desired pressure, it automatically turns off. Now, let's see how accurate this machine was. Alright guys, I've got our tire pressure gauge over here. It's nice and big so we can all see. and we set it to 2. Let's see where it's at. And that looks pretty dead on too, so great result from Worx. That's a very nice little machine. Let's move on to the next one. Alright everyone, I'm here with the new Inco unit. So it looks very similar to the Worx unit. It does operate a little bit differently in that it has got a trigger under here. So to turn it on, you just pull the trigger, and now you'll see the display comes up. To switch between bar, kPa, psi, it's this button over here at the top. And obviously to set your pressure, it's these buttons over here. At the bottom here, this is the pressure in the tire or this hose. And at the top, that's the desired pressure. Once you're ready to go, you just pull the trigger and the machine will kick in and obviously stop automatically once it gets to that 2 bar pressure. So let's hook it up and let's see how we get on. And there we go. That's it. Let's see how accurate this machine is. We've got the tire inflator here for you guys. Let's see. And again, dead on 2 bar. So the new Inco and the Worx pretty much identical in terms of accuracy. Let's get into the third one and see if that one is as accurate. Alright guys, so I'm here with the last of the Inco. This is an older unit. This hose here is for inflating air mattresses. I'm just going to take it off for this test. So you need to unwind the hose from here. I do prefer the other hose holders of the other 2, I must say. This one's a little bit more cumbersome, but yeah, it is what it is. So to get going here, let me just show you guys. So the battery's installed under here. Press the middle button there. You can switch between PSI and the pressure measurements by pressing the middle button, like so. We're going to set it to bar. We're going to set it to 2 bar. So there's 2 bar. It'll show you now. Now it shows you what the pressure is in the hose. So don't think that it's automatically reset. It is now showing you what the tire pressure is of the vehicle. So to start the inflation, you're going to go on number 1 over here. If you wanted to do the air mattress, you press number 2, and it actually, this is the inflation area where obviously the air comes out to inflate your mattress. So we've set it to 2 bar. If you want to just double check, you just press the up or down arrow and you can see it comes up 2 bar. So with that, let me set it all up and let's see how quick it is and how accurate it is. So interesting, it looks like it might have actually gone over, but let's see how accurate it is when we did set it to 2 bar. So let's check it out and see where we ended up. And that is also actually just a slight touch over 2 bars, so it inflated ever so slightly. But you know, once you know how much it overinflates by, you can adjust accordingly and get more accurate readings going forward. But yeah, let's wrap it up and see what these machines are able to do. Alright guys, so there's quite a lot to unpack now. We've shown you guys a little bit of a performance test, we've shown you guys the lights, but now it's time just to talk generally about these machines. In terms of inflating the tire, the Worx was the quickest with a time of 2:11. This Inco in the middle one was 2 minutes 30, and the old Inco was actually quite a lot slower, which was a little bit of a surprise to us at 3 minutes 30. We suspect that the 45 liters per minute inflation time might be for the air mattress, not for the tire inflation, just based on the time. It should have been actually a little bit quicker than the new Inco, but as you guys could see, it was actually a little bit slower. In terms of the performance of the lights, the Worx was definitely the winner on that one. It gave a nice broad light. It had various settings on the light as well as that red flashing light. So if you had this in your car and you were stuck, this is actually a great little unit to have. And in terms of light, definitely one out. With regard to these two Incos, it's a bit of a muchness. The light on the new Inco is more direct and focused light, whereas the light on the old Inco is a more broad, like more dim light, but it's a little bit bigger, the spread of light, where this is more direct and brighter in that specific area, but it's a very small area that it illuminates. So based on what your needs are, you can decide which one to get. But yeah, in terms of lights and performance, the Worx has definitely won. In terms of accuracy, these machines were all pretty good. The new Inco and the Worx were spots on 2 bar, the pressure that we set, so that was very impressive and great to see. This older Inco did overinflate slightly, but it was by 0.1, so with a little bit of trial and error, you could dial that in and get that exactly how you want it. So in terms of accuracy, I don't think there's too much to complain about with these 3 units. In terms of the actual inflation cord, so we've measured the length of each of these, and the old Inco was actually the longest in terms of the inflation cord with 77 centimeters, then the Worx with 72 centimeters, and then the new Inco with 67 centimeters. So if that's something important to you, that's something that you can also look at and consider. In terms of pricing, now pricing is one of the more important parts of this, and the cheapest of the 3 is the new Inco. It comes in at 1,039 Rand, then it's the old Inco at 1,249 Rand, and the Worx at 1,699 Rand. So a little bit of a premium on the Worx, but I think you could justify it based on the performance of the light and the inflation. It is a little bit quicker than the others. In terms of usability, now this one's a little bit more subjective. In terms of operation, I do like the new Inco with the trigger and setting the pressure up top here. I think that for me personally, I really like the trigger. The Worx operates pretty much the same. It is a little bit more cumbersome getting between bar PSI and kPa, but once you've set it to one of those options, it does stay there. So you don't have to keep resetting it every time. So that's not too much of a problem. But what I do like on the new Inco, and where I think it's maybe a little bit better than the Worx, is this trigger. So on the Worx, obviously you have to press the button here to start stop, whereas on here you got a trigger. That's just personal preference. They've both been well ergonomically designed, so that just comes down to I personally enjoy more. This unit here, it is convenient, but it can be confusing with the switch with number 1 and number 2. I find myself having to look at the diagram fairly often to try and remember which one inflates what. As for everything else, it is easy enough to set the pressure and that sort of thing, so that's not too much of a problem there. In terms of walking, as you could see in the video, the Worx one did walk quite a lot, whereas the 2 Inco ones did stay still. If that is something important for you, then you can consider that in your purchasing decision. With regard to the test itself and the units we've tested, we did want to get a DeWalt in, and despite them showing 56 units of stock on their portal, they told me that that was an error or there's incoming stock. We've tried to get stock of the inflator, but we haven't been able to, so we substituted in this old Inco machine for you guys here. Just some background on that. So if anyone out there has a cordless DeWalt inflator and you're willing to lend it to us for some testing, bring it through. We'd really appreciate that. It'd be awesome, I think. So yeah, there you go guys. I hope we've given you some information with regard to making a purchasing decision. If you want out and out performance and you need the light and you need the speed for inflation, you can't beat the Worx here. It's not that much more expensive. I mean, 60% more I suppose is quite a bit. It's 600 Rand, so for the performance gain in the light and the speed, you could justify it. If you've got a Worx system already, I don't think you would jump across to the Inco platform just for a tire inflator. This unit is very, very good and we do recommend it. If you're looking for something that gives you 90% of the performance but a little bit less on cost, then obviously the Inco would be the one to go for, the new one specifically. If you need to inflate air mattresses though, and you're willing to put up with a slower inflation time on tires, then the older Inco is the one to get, and that one does fall sort of in the middle price bracket of those two units. This one, I'm not sure if Inco are going to be continuing with it for too much longer, so if you see one and you want one, I recommend buying it. I know we currently do not have stock, but just check the link in the description because things change all the time and stock might come in by the time this video comes out. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We do have all of these machines available in store, obviously when in stock with regard to this older Inco, but we do have the new Inco and the Worx in stock, ready to go, ready to ship. So if you'd like to come in store and see them, we'll have an address for you guys down below. We'll obviously have links to all of these products so you can shop our online store as well. With that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I'll catch you again next week. Thank you.